Good morning. Welcome to this Unitarian Universalist Church, which includes our congregations in Birmingham and Tuscaloosa, and our folks online. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are today, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. To all who are here this morning, welcome home. Please use your connection card to sign up for any upcoming events, to get a name tag, or to request information. The office staff read these every week in our Monday staff meeting. Reverend Julie is out recovering from surgery. Please contact the office if you need anything, and your call will be routed appropriately. As you leave church today, please take note of the table in the narthex that has lost and found items accumulated in the past few months. All items not claimed today will be donated, so this will be your last chance. And now I will invite Eddie Easterling forward for an announcement.
Good morning. How are y'all today? It's a beautiful day. It's a little cold, and did everybody lose that hour of sleep last night? I'm the chair of the stewardship committee, and I just wanted to remind you that we're now in the middle of our stewardship campaign. So we have pledge forms. You can go online. I think we have paper copies. I'm not sure, but anyway. But I also want to tell you that next Sunday, immediately after church at 11:30, we're going to have a stewardship lunch. And it will be from Tzatziki's. It's their signature pasta plus salad and other things for people who are vegetarians. And there the choir will perform. We'll talk a little bit about what stewardship is and all that. And anyway, so that's March 17th at 11:30. Thank you.
All right, and we have an announcement about the Poor People's Campaign.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm Melanie Geer with the Justice Committee, and last Saturday, 7 of us from this UU congregation went to Montgomery in support of the Poor People's Campaign. And it was a march to our state capital across the country, and Alabama was one of the participating states in support of low-wage workers. And while we were there, we learned a lot of things, and since the Poor People's Campaign is our Share the Plate recipient this month, we wanted to share a few things that we learned and the reason that we support the Poor People's Campaign. And I'll start by reminding us that the Poor People's Campaign is a grassroots organization that was started in 2018 to carry on the unfinished work of Dr. Martin Luther King, to help shift our values toward a more just society, especially for poor and low-wage workers. Last week in Montgomery, we learned that Alabama is home to 1.9 million poor and low-income eligible voters who make up 47% of our electorate. We also learned that 40% of Alabama's workforce make less than $15 an hour, and that 1.8 million workers in Alabama, that is 80% of the workforce, do not have paid leave. 80% of the workforce in Alabama does not have a paid leave. So that is why I am supporting the Poor People's Campaign and their efforts this year to get out the vote and to activate the poor and low-income workers across Alabama and this country.
I support the Poor People's Campaign because they advocate for causes that are very dear to my heart. This would be clean air, gun safety, and closing the gap in health care coverage, otherwise known as Medicaid expansion.
As a longtime civil rights lawyer, I have seen the effects of generational poverty over and over again. And poverty is violence. Poverty is also the fourth leading cause of death in our country. And as Brian Stevenson says, the opposite of poverty is not wealth. The opposite of poverty is justice. So the Poor People's Campaign fights for many issues, not just the economics of poverty.
Thank you, and please join us in supporting the Poor People's Campaign this month.
The prelude prepares us for worship. Please rise in body or in spirit for the lighting of the chalice. The chalice, as a symbol of Unitarian Universalism, arose as a beacon of hope in an atmosphere of tyranny. The chalice arose as a sign of promise that the marginalized would neither be forgotten nor ignored, because they are beloved and precious from the perspective of the holy. This morning we remember all of the people who have been told explicitly or implicitly through police violence or government policy, through derision or dehumanization, that they're anything less than whole, anything less than beloved. As we light this chalice, may we make of our lives a beacon, a symbol of our promise to draw the circle wide, a sign that we will not rest until all means all. In the spirit of inclusivity and welcome, please greet those around you, especially those you may not recognize. Folks online, please greet others in the chat. Our opening hymn is hymn number 100.
Good morning. I'm Helen Rivas here with the Justice Minute, echoing some of what the folks who attended the Poor People's Campaign said about poverty and other things. I even came wearing my Cover Alabama button this morning. If you are not part of Cover Alabama, go to coveralabama.org. There is a postcard campaign, and today Stan Johnson from Alabama Rise will be meeting with us at 11:15. Anybody is welcome. And we will be filling out he will give us a legislative update, and we also are going to fill out postcards for the governor and elected officials saying close the coverage gap. And it's looking hopeful that we may get action on that. And the Alabama Arise News Digest, which if you do not read already, I really recommend you check it out, alarise.org. It comes out every morning, all year, and contains local, state, national news items that you may find of interest. And it's one way to keep up with that. Also, and mentioning that, the Daily Yonder was quoted this morning talking about how endangered rural hospitals are. So, and also next week, probably there will be action on transportation. SB 91 has been introduced, which would put funding in the Transportation Trust Fund that entities around the state could draw for use as a drawdown to get more federal money to pay for buses or for computerized van pool assignments in areas where there's not enough people for bus service. Stay tuned for that. And a shout out to the students who went to Montgomery last week protesting DEI. As the IVF thing showed, public annoyance and expressing that to the legislators, they actually sometimes listen. If you saw, we got a bill in 2 weeks that protected, at least for the moment, IVF. And with DEI, I would recommend too, there is a petition online for this saying, get rid of this, it's bad, it's unhealthy, it's But we as Unitarians, I don't have to tell you why we're for that. So anyway, that's just part of it. Thank you for all many of you are doing, and keep taking your vitamins.
Good morning. Good morning. I am Adam Stewart. This is Melissa Stewart, and that's Violet Stewart. And I think that that's why they asked us to come and talk about stewardship this morning. So we're just here to talk about why we pledge, why we give to this community, and what it means to our family. So we started coming, I was just being supportive. Violet was very excited to go to church because all of her friends go to church. And so we showed up, and there were so many kids here. And to see the potential of her having a church family that she could grow up with and become like a more compassionate Alabamian with was an exciting thing. So we are always excited to wake up and come back. I didn't expect to get anything out of this personally. But I was just being supportive. But Eddie started the Seekers class, which meets today. And in that class, we talk about spirituality and world religions and things that, like as an atheist, I wasn't particularly engaged with. So I was like, I'm gonna go re-engage and just see what that does. And it was super meaningful. It's been nice to get back in touch with that. It got me back on my Buddhism kick. I've been going to a Sangha once a week to meditate. So just all kinds of value that I didn't anticipate getting out of this experience. So it's brought me a lot of peace and comfort in a time that's been stressful lately, and I would credit this community for that.
My name is Melissa, and I dragged him here. I am a nurse, and in 2020, I worked in an ICU, which very abruptly became a COVID ICU. And for 2 years, I spent that time watching people slip away. And I'm very much a people person. I thrive on connections, and it got to the point after 2 years of doing that was such a vulnerability that I couldn't do that anymore. Panic attacks in rooms, not being able to take care of patients who are awake because they needed too much, and I couldn't give that anymore. And so I withdrew from the ICU, and I went to somewhere where I could talk to people on the phone and look at the computer all day and do that. And for a year, I just kind of delved into myself and strengthened my relationships with my family and friends that I already had. And at the end of that year, I realized I still felt so empty, and I couldn't quite piece together what that was. And I was looking for peace. And when we had gone to the UU before, periodically, I had that. So I dragged them here. And the first sermon that Julie spoke on was vulnerability. And it hit so hard, and everything that vulnerability is. And I cried, and I've cried a lot in this sanctuary. And this place helped me piece myself back together and make those connections with people again and be whole. So if you want to be a part of a community that is there for you, where you can be your authentic self, where you can bring all of your troubles and sorrows and feel accepted, then please give your time, efforts, and money, and because that's what I do, and this place helped me be whole. So thank you for being here.
Good morning. We've got our church's Girl Scout troop with us today. They make their way to the front. Today is Girl Scout Sunday. This is close to my heart because I was a Girl Scout, as were so many other people in this room. Normally when Reverend Julie is here, she'll do a blessing for the Scouts and give them badges. And so we're not able to do all of that today. But we did want to recognize them, and you might have seen their booth outside. I was looking back at the Girl Scout Promise and the Girl Scout Law because it's been a long time since I looked at it. And I saw that in the Girl Scout Law, troop members pledge to be honest and fair, friendly and helpful, considerate and caring, courageous and strong, responsible for what they personally say and do, using their resources wisely, and making the world a better place. And I think we can all agree that those are very UU adjacent ideals. So now I'm going to invite Deborah up to our troop leader to say a few words, and then if you'd like to recite your promise, you can do that as well. Okay.
All right, good morning. My name's Deborah Lockridge. I am the troop leader for 30372. A lot of Girl Scout troops are organized around locations and schools. This troop was organized around sort of a set of shared values of wanting to be very inclusive, and the church want to thank them for providing us a home to meet, because the values of the church we fit very well. We have marched in the Pride Parade as an adjunct to the UUC float, which is really amazing, the support we get from the people there. We meet every second and fourth Sundays here, typically. We also rearrange our schedule to do special field trips, camping, community service. I think yesterday we were at Sloss Furnaces doing a really cool event where they get to design a tile and watch them pour it. So want to thank y'all for your support. We have a cookie booth. Cookie sales support our troop activities, and they also support the council and uses it to keep up our camps, support council activities and salaries. So it's really important. Some people say, why are they $5? Well, it's not just cookies. You're really supporting what the girls do. The girls also learn a lot through doing cookie sales, entrepreneurship, responsibility, self-confidence, teamwork, and they do it while they're having fun too. So we just want to thank you and say the Girl Scout Promise and Law. We're a fairly casual troop. We don't worry so much about the number of badges we earn as the experiences that we have doing it and what we learn and have fun while we're doing it. So, right, promise? On my honor, I will try to serve my beliefs and my country, to help people at all times, to live by the Girl Scout law. And the Girl Scout law is?
I will do my best to be honest and fair, friendly and helpful, considerate and caring, courageous and strong, responsible for what I say and do, and to respect myself and others, respect authority, use resources wisely, make the world a better place, and be a sister to every Girl Scout.
And we are always accepting new members. We're currently second grade through 7th. We might add the Daisy level next year, which is kindergarten and first grade. So you can be any age. You don't have to start when you're little. I've had girls join when they're 5th, 6th grade. So if you're interested, let me know. The office can put you in touch with me or ask me at the cookie booth. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Deborah. And as she said, they will have their booth outside after church, so please support our Girl Scouts.
Now is that time in our community when we share what we carry with us on this day, joy or sorrow. For those of you online, please share yours in our online chat and remember to hold others by placing parentheses around their name. For those of you in person today, you are now invited to come forward and drop a stone in honor or memory of what is on your heart today. Please come forward. If you have updates you'd like to share with me or the congregation, please contact me. May we keep one another in our hearts and minds in the spirit of community and love. And now will you please join me in the spirit of prayer and meditation, followed by a moment of silence. Spirit of life, source of liberation from all forms of oppression, free us from the dehumanizing states of being oppressed and of being oppressors. Free us from the tyranny of anti-Semitism and all other oppressions, so that we may fulfill the dream of beloved community that we have so long hoped to see in the world. In the name of the spark of liberation within us, we pray. Amen. Let us take a moment of silence. Amen, and blessed be.
Good morning. Will the children come forward? Good morning, everybody. We're going to do a story today called What Do You Do with a Chance? One day, I got a chance. It just seemed to show up. It acted like it knew me, as if it wanted something. I didn't know why it was here. What do you do with a chance? I wondered. It fluttered around me. It brushed up against me. It circled me as if it wanted me to grab it. I started to reach for it, but I was unsure and pulled back. So it flew away. I thought about it a lot. I wished I had taken my chance. I realized I had wanted it, but I still didn't know if I had the courage. When another chance came around, I wasn't so sure, but I decided to try. I went to reach for it, but I missed and fell. I was embarrassed. I felt foolish. It seemed like everyone was looking at me. I decided I never wanted to feel this way again. Can anybody relate to being embarrassed in front of other people? So after that, whenever a chance came along, I ignored it. And the more I ignored them, the less they came around. Until one day, I noticed that I hadn't seen a chance in quite a while. It was as if they had all disappeared. I started to worry. What if I don't get another chance? I know I acted like I didn't care, but the truth was, I did. I still wanted to take a chance, but I was afraid, and I wasn't sure if I would ever be brave enough. Then I thought, maybe I don't have to be brave all the time. Maybe I just need to be brave for a little while at the right time. I realized it was up to me. I promised myself that if I ever got another chance, I wasn't going to hold back. If I got another chance, I was going to be ready. Then, one seemingly ordinary day, I saw something shining far off in the distance. Is it possible? I hoped. Could this be my chance? I had to find out. I ran as hard and as fast as I could toward it. I don't know how to explain it, but the second I let go of my fears, I was full of excitement. It wasn't that I was no longer afraid, but now my excitement was bigger than my fear. As I got closer, I could see that this was a really huge chance. But this time, I was ready as it came by. I reached out and grabbed it. I held on with all my might. It felt so good to soar, to fly, to be free. I now see that when I hold back, I miss out, and I don't want to miss out. There's just so much I want to see and do and discover. So, what do you do with a chance? You take it, because it just might be the start of something incredible. Thank you guys for listening, and now if you will sing us downstairs.
Joyce Shevin, the speaker for today, prides herself on making connections among community partners to create positive change for all. Joyce is the director of the Jewish Community Relations Council, JCRC, for the Birmingham Jewish Federation. In this role, she serves as the connector from the Jewish community to the broader community, educating about Judaism and advocating on behalf of the total Jewish community on policy and social justice issues. She brings together people of different faiths and cultures to create a greater understanding of each other and our place together in our community. Joyce has served as interim executive director of the Birmingham Holocaust Education Center and is the former executive director of Magic Moments, dedicated to fulfilling the dreams of children in Alabama suffering with chronic life-threatening diseases. In 2019, Joyce was appointed by Mayor Randall Woodfin to the City of Birmingham's Human Rights Commission and is currently a member of the Mayor's Women Initiative. Joyce has served on the boards of the Birmingham Holocaust Education Center, the Hispanic Interest Coalition of Alabama, and is a member of the FBI's Multicultural Advisory Committee. She is a past president of Alabama Possible, the Women's Network, and Kalat Jewish Family Services. She is a graduate of both Leadership Birmingham and Leadership Alabama and serves on Leadership Birmingham's Board of Trustees. In 2017, Joyce received the NCCJ Brotherhood and Sisterhood Award. In 2018, she was selected by Positive Maturity as a Top 50 Over 50 and a Smart Honoree by the Women's Fund. A native of Atlanta, Joyce graduated from the University of Georgia with a Bachelor of Social Work and received her Master of Arts in Education from UAB. In 2017, she received her certification as a Jefferson County Master Gardener. Joyce is married to Marie Shevin. Together they have 5 children and 8 grandchildren. Please join me in welcoming her to the podium.
I really need to pare down that bio, but as you get older, it gets longer. I am going to thank y'all for having me here today. I am going to step into the 21st century and use my computer to read the remarks I've prepared today, which I've never done before and may not work. I always old-fashioned, print it out, but we'll see what happens. The good news is I don't have to introduce myself. Okay. I was just going to tell you a little bit about the Jewish Community Relations Council, the JCRC. For over 60 years, the JCRC has worked to build bridges of understanding to our broader community, combat anti-Semitism, and advocate for public policy and social justice issues important to our Jewish community. And we do this through outreach and working together with our faith and civic partners in the community and educating others to our history, our culture, and our traditions. We not only like to share our beliefs, but in turn learn about others. For only by truly knowing each other can we work to develop paths forward together. I am so honored to be with you guys in this sacred space. In just a couple of weeks, the Jewish people will commemorate the holiday of Purim. The story of Purim is found in the book of Esther, and the word Purim is Hebrew for lots, named for the lots that the evil Haman, the advisor to King Ahasuerus, cast in order to determine the day on which he would kill all the Jews. Haman was infuriated that Mordecai, a Jew, had refused to bow down before him. He plotted against the Jews and received an edict from the king ordering their destruction. The king did not realize that his own wife, Queen Esther, was herself a Jew. Following Esther's intervention, the king revoked the edict and had Haman and his sons hanged on the very gallows that had been prepared for the Jewish people. As you can imagine, Purim is a joyful holiday, even though it's a sad story for the Jewish people, as we celebrate Esther, our heroine who stood up and spoke out to defend her people. It is just one of the many stories through the centuries of Jewish survival. Today, our Jewish community feels as if we are once again in a battle for our survival. Hate crimes against Jews have risen 37% since last year, and 1 out of every 4 Jewish people today report feeling unsafe and avoid publicly wearing or displaying things that might identify them as Jewish. Since the start of the Israel and Hamas war, we've experienced a frightening and unprecedented surge in anti-Semitic and Islamophobic incidents here in the United States. Between October 7th and December 7th, the Anti-Defamation League, or ADL, recorded a total of 2,031 anti-Semitic incidents, up from only 465 during that same period in 2022. We're talking a 337% increase, nearly 34 incidents a day on average. These include incidents of physical assault over the span of 2 months, which is terrifying when you consider this number is usually in single digits for a year. Here's a few examples of just what happened this past week. Jewish students on a Florida bus were forced off the road following a bomb threat. Fashion model Bella Hadid shared on social media a video promoting the anti-Semitic ideas of Louis Farrakhan, the leader of the Nation of Islam. In Switzerland, a Jew was stabbed by a 15-year-old who yelled death to the Jews. And in France, a man was leaving a Paris synagogue, was assaulted by an assailant who shouted, "Dirty Jew." And this past Tuesday, here in Birmingham, the group Patriotic Front placed signage on the cut from Homewood through Red Mountain. Patriot Front is a white supremacist group with neo-Nazi roots. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Department was immediately notified and the signage was taken down, But like the game of whack-a-mole, we know these signs will continue to appear again and again. As Ambassador Deborah Lipstadt, our country's special envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism, says, we have to stop thinking about anti-Semitism as solely a threat to Jews. It is that, and that alone would make it worth fighting, but it's more. It's a threat to democracy and our national security. About approximately 250 anti-Semitic incidents specifically targeted Jewish institutions like synagogues and Jewish student campus organizations or Hillels. And on college and university campus, the ADL has recorded a total of 400 anti-Semitic incidents compared to only 33 incidents in 2022. So how are we feeling as Jews in America? 63% of American Jews say the status of Jews in the United States is less secure compared to 1 year ago. In 2022, this number was 41%. In 2021, it was only 31%. Half of American Jews reported that they have altered their behavior out of fear of anti-Semitism. The journalist Barry Weiss, in a talk recently, put it so well. American Jews, having lived as if we were immune from history, find ourselves in the belly of the beast once more. It is a moment in which the realities that seemed reserved to Jews of other times and of other places are all of a sudden very much our own. In my role as the JCRC director, I counter my feelings of despair with action. Our JCRC proactively confronts anti-Semitism by continually educating and advocating for our Jewish community locally and nationally, and by doing so, clearing up misconceptions, breaking through stereotypes, and calling out tropes. I work very closely with our school systems to educate about our religion, our Jewish holidays, and how they affect Jewish students, as well as to offer support and resources to educators as they navigate hard subjects like the Holocaust and the Israel-Hamas war. But yet, we are scared. I'm scared. As Jewish children, we learned about the Holocaust. I grew up in Atlanta, where I attended a Jewish day school, where many of my classmates' parents were Holocaust survivors. As children, we would imagine ourselves in the Holocaust, but always, though, in a fanciful type of way. We were like Anne Frank and her family, hiding from the Nazis. But not too long ago at dinner with friends in conversation, we asked if anyone had thought about who would hide you. Each and every one at that table had. Who would be our meat geese? You will hear some speakers refer to anti-Semitism as Jew hatred. I don't. Someone asked me recently about the difference in that terminology. Some use the term Jew hatred to forcefully call out anti-Semitism. I can't use that term personally because the word said together to me is just too traumatizing. It's really just that simple. We are scared. I am scared. Rabbi Stephen Hankin and I met with several of the nuns at St. Rose Academy last month. St. Rose is just up the street from Temple Bethel Synagogue. It was a meet and greet to get to know each other, as we love to do in interfaith circles. At the end of our time with them, Principal Sister Mary Juliana wanted us to know that St. Rose is a safe space for our Jewish community, if the need ever arose. By the end of the conversation, we were all in tears, and this comforts me. What also comforts me is the same survey I mentioned earlier also found in 2023 that 92% of United States adults believe that anti-Semitism affects society as a whole, and everyone is responsible for combating it. What also comforts me is being here with you today. I have gotten to know Reverend Conradi and Matthew through Southside Faith Communities, a wonderful gathering of clergy and professionals. Her leadership, support, and friendship has been so appreciated and meaningful as we navigate these turbulent times together. So I end today by thanking you for inviting me and by sharing a quote from the great moral voice of our time, the late Rabbi Jonathan Sacks, who said, "Anti-Semitism is never ultimately about Jews. It is about a profound human failure to accept the fact that we are diverse, and we must create space for diversity if we are to preserve our humanity. Together, we will fight to preserve our humanity." I also want to offer a prayer of peace. God of all, protector and redeemer, source and shelter for all faiths, grant safety and security to all nations so that harmony and blessings resound from the four corners of the earth. Blessed are you, God of all, forging nations and peoples in the crucible of change throughout history. May this time of challenge for the nations of the Middle East become a blessing for all inhabitants and for all the world. And may the light of this sacred chalice and space we shared today shine a lighted path toward peace for all nations and for all peoples. Thank you.
Back again. I'm Helen Rivas, Beacon and member of the Justice Committee. And as you know, our church is supported by those who call our church home and those who support the efforts of our church to change our world for the better. If this is your first time with us, please pass the plate. We're just glad you're here. We share our cash plate every Sunday with organizations whose work reflects UU values to care for marginalized persons, advocate for real and systemic change, defend our environment, and promote justice and equity for all. This month's Share the Plate is the Poor People's Campaign, and you heard already from Melanie, Marion, and Lisa a bit about the Poor People's Campaign. I do recommend it as a worthy cause. I've been to events in North Carolina as well as Alabama, and they are working to bring together a broad group of people. Oh, and they do believe in diversity, equity, and inclusion. I was called on not explaining that acronym earlier. So they're committed to waking the sleeping giant, as they say. As you heard, 47% of the voters in Alabama are poor or low income. If they voted at the same rate as high income folks, we would have significant change here. So please join the movement for waking the sleeping giant with your Share the Plate donation. We appreciate your donations either by placing them in the plate, by mailing your donation to the church, or by using PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. More information is found in the order of service. Thank you for your generous support of our church and our Share the Plate recipient. May we give in love and hope.
Please rise in body or in spirit for our closing hymn, and then be seated for our extinguishing of the chalice through the postlude. Our closing hymn is number 148 in the gray cover hymnal. We shall overcome. When we can truly celebrate the diversity of contributions and talents offered by all people, we shall overcome hatred and prejudice and oppression. When we can truly extend our hands to one another in loving acceptance, we shall overcome the past that haunts us now. Living in peace and freedom, we shall overcome the wrongs that have happened and the debts left unpaid. Let us join together in that commitment to overcome, and let us say together, Amen.